It's hot,
it's crowded,
and expensive.
But Disney World can still be magical
During spring break,
if you have the right toolkit. First, you need to know what it means to go during spring break. So spring break isn't just necessarily 1 week in Disney World. Across America, spring break really takes place from roughly the beginning of March towards the end of April, really kind of Easter, that time frame. So there's not really going to be 1 week that is absolutely crazy in Disney World. Rather, it'll be about a month and a half, 2 months that you're gonna see that big crowd hike. Going during peak times can kind of mean a lot of things. It might mean that crowds are more extensive. It might mean that wait times are a little bit higher. It might even mean that your ticket prices are gonna be higher than they would be during slower seasons during the year. This isn't the end of the world. It just means it's something to consider before going to spring break in Disney World. It doesn't mean you should cancel your trip. It doesn't mean you shouldn't go, but it is important to kind of know these details and know what to expect before you get to the park, so that way you have your head wrapped around it before you get overwhelmed by the crowds and pricing. Disney World participates in price surging. So that essentially means tickets are going to be pricier for busier times of the year. So think the holidays, spring break, and that massive summer boom. Tickets are just gonna cost you more because they're in higher demand, more people are there, and they're gonna be there. We will say that Disney executives have actually teased switching to a dynamic structure like they have over in Disneyland Paris when it comes to ticket pricing. We'll break all of that down if it actually happens. For more details on what that dynamic pricing could look like, head over to the AllEars.net blog. We don't want to spend a ton of time on it today because today we're talking about spring break, but it is important to know that Disney ticketing prices could change in the future. If that does happen, it'll be a very important switch and we'll break it down then. Point of this, it's gonna be pricier, it's gonna be more crowded. As long as you know that, things will be okay.
With these crowds in mind, we like to pre-plan everything we can. This includes a lot of things. We, of course, always recommend buying your tickets in advance and having your hotel ready to go in advance of your trip. Buying your tickets before the trip can guarantee that you get into the parks, which can hit capacity, and it saves you time in lines when you first get to the park. Having your hotel in advance can also help you gauge things like travel time, book your lightning lanes in advance if you're staying on property, and more. Speaking of lightning lanes, you can pre-book your Skip the Line passes 7 days in advance if you're staying at a Disney resort and 3 days in advance if you're staying off property. Disney offers 3 different ways to skip the line with Premier Pass, Multi-Pass, and Single Pass. Premier Pass is pricey, but it gives you access to every attraction with a lightning lane without needing to book times in your chosen park. Again, it's pricey. Multi-Pass is the second highest tier. It gives you access to most of the lightning lanes and a guaranteed 3 skips that you can book in advance. Finally, there's a Single Pass that gives you access to the most popular ride in each park, and Magic Kingdom has 2. Lightning lanes aren't necessary to have a great day, but they do offer a way to maximize your trip and avoid time in lines. We think it's the most beneficial in Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, but it's up to you and how you use it. Now, we have tons of videos breaking down all of these systems, showing you exactly how to use them, when they work, when you shouldn't pay for them. So please go check out those videos way before your trip so you can decide if they're right for you.
I'm jumping in here to help because there's so much that you can book. We wanted to break it up into 2 sections. You can also pre-book your table service dining reservations. Disney World has hundreds, literally hundreds of places to eat if you want to have a table service reservation, which means you sit down at a table, someone comes to you, a cast member, and they wait on you. It's not like you go get your food and then take it to your table yourself. You can actually book your reservations up to 60 days in advance of your trip, which means that you can get good meals settled, squared away with good times well before you ever step into the park. If you're staying on property at a Disney World hotel, you can actually book them for the entire length of your stay on that 60-day mark. So 60 days before your arrival day, you can log in early in the morning. It actually starts at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can make all of your reservations for your entire stay. Typically, we recommend you start at the end and work your way backwards if you're staying on property, because that means that you can book a little bit more in advance than everyone else, which typically just has the 60-day window. So if you're not staying on Disney World property, you're gonna have to do it day by day. We absolutely love Disney World dining. We are big proponents of it. We talk about it all the time. And Quincy, in fact, has eaten at every single Disney World restaurant if not almost every single Disney World restaurant. So we love it. That being said, some of them, it's almost like trying to get an Olympic gold medal to get a reservation at these restaurants. So if you really, really want one, or you really want to dine somewhere specific, you absolutely need to make sure that you are booking as in advance as you possibly can. They will absolutely fill up, and they will not always open the day that you're there. Maybe they'll have a walk-up wait list, maybe they'll have a last-minute reservation cancellation. You could get a last-minute spot. We've done it before, and honestly, we sometimes rely on it. That being said, if you have your heart set on dining at Cinderella's royal table, you need to make that 60-day in advance dining reservation. It's just gonna make things less stressful, and it's gonna ensure that you get a spot rather than adding a little bit of stress on the day of. Like I said, you can utilize things like walk-up wait lists and last-minute reservation cancellations, but relying on them sometimes can make the day more stressful. If you're willing to be a little bit more flexible in a kind of, if it works out mindset, then that's fine. But if you know this is a make or break situation, grab the reservation as early as you can. There are plenty of places to grab food that don't require reservations, but if you want a guaranteed seat with guaranteed AC, this is just something that's nice and can kind of get you out of the crowds when spring break is so wild.
One of the best ways to make the most of your Disney trip is to stay in the park as long as you can. Staying at a Disney resort can give you extra time in the morning and sometimes in the evening, which can mean lower crowds and lower temperatures. Disney resort guests can utilize early theme park entry, which gives them an extra 30 minutes in the park before it officially opens. This can help you get onto one or even two of the most popular rides with low lines. Then once the park opens, other guests will go to those rides you already did, and you can move on to even more popular rides with lower wait times. We love a good rope drop strategy, which means getting in line before the park opens, because it's an amazing way to truly maximize your time. And in 2026, Disney is bringing back extended evening hours. Thank you, Disney. Anyone staying in deluxe resorts or deluxe villa resorts can utilize an extra 2 hours in select theme parks on select nights. This extra time isn't every night or at every park, so be sure to check the Disney World calendar before your trip so you can plan around the extra time. We love extended evening hours, so if you can take advantage of them, we highly recommend it. Now, if you're really extreme and want to get the most out of your park time, you could do early entry in the morning and extended evening hours in the evening, all in one day, but we would definitely recommend breaks throughout the day. Speaking of, Emma?
We love a long Disney day. I am a rope drop to close kind of girl, but the midday crash is no joke. Adults will experience it, kiddos will experience it, everyone in between. It's gonna happen, plan for it. Between roughly 2 and 4 p.m., this is when the crowds are really at the worst, the heat is at its highest, and everyone is starting to get at their crankiest. So this is a great time to go ahead and plan for those midday breaks. Now, a break can mean different things to different people. Sometimes that means going back to your resort for a long nap. Sometimes that means going and laying by the pool for a while. Sometimes that even means just finding a quiet spot to sit in the shade for an hour or two, which we are definitely guilty of and very much enjoy. If you don't want to leave the parks, this can kind of be a good time to find that quiet spot, or maybe even go and find something that's a little bit more low-key. Maybe a show or a long line that's indoors for a popular attraction. So things like Peter Pan's Flight. Nobody really loves waiting in a long line, but if you just need to get out of the sun and heat and crowds for a long time, a decent chunk of time, sometimes lines can provide that. I know I've used that as a way to feel like I'm not wasting time, but definitely give myself a mental break from everything that is going on around me. Because Disney can be stressful even at the most chill times, let alone during spring break. Personally, I actually have a spot in every single Disney park that I can go and grab a little shut-eye in a nice air-conditioned place, or even just a nice place to sit down and, like I said, take a mental break. So in Magic Kingdom, I love doing the Carousel of Progress twice, once to watch it and enjoy it, and a second time to take a nap or even just disassociate on air conditioning for 20-ish minutes. In Epcot, it's American Adventure all the way for the exact same things, although I typically only do it once. As good of a show as it is, I don't really think it's a necessity. It's more of a rest and relaxation spot for me. In Hollywood Studios, it used to be Star Wars Launch Bay. Because of all the changes coming to Animation Courtyard, now my new spot I think is going to be Frozen Sing-Along Adventure. That one I'll probably end up doing twice. Or One Man's Dream inside Walt Disney Presents. Both of those can serve for this purpose. Specifically, One Man's Dream is actually gonna be a little bit more quiet as well, so maybe that's the spot to go to. Finally, for Animal Kingdom, I love going to the Big Blue and Beyond, which is the Finding Nemo musical. I love that musical. This could be considered in the twice category if you need that long of a break, but it's just a good place to, again, sit and decompress for the day. It might seem weird to a lot of people that I have spots to take naps in the Disney World theme parks, but honestly, when you think about how long it can take to get to and from your resort, how much time it kind of takes out of your day, I like being in the parks. I don't really want to waste that much time, but I do need an hour to 2 hour break that I don't necessarily want to spend on a Disney World bus. So finding spots in the park tend to work out for me more. You also can go to a resort nearby. It doesn't have to be your resort, but a lot of times Magic Kingdom, we love to get on the monorail and go chill at a lounge for a while. There are a lot of options. You just have to know what feels right for you and how you want to spend your day. All that being said, there is going to be a crash, so maybe mentally plan ahead.
Now, if you didn't know, you can actually order your food ahead of time in the parks through the My Disney Experience app. You could do breakfast, lunch, and dinner at some delicious spots without needing to wait in long lines. You can even get coffees, cold brews, and waters at some spots, which can be the biggest perk. We love Starbucks and Joffrey's, but sometimes they can take forever, especially if you're trying to get to your next ride. Are you saying hello? You can order hours ahead of time, so if you know you eat lunch at 12, go ahead and place that order at 9 a.m. so it doesn't fill up. Time slots can fill up, and we've seen them be hours after your initial order, so if you feel passionate about your lunch spot, go ahead and order as soon as possible. You can also check out through the app at certain spots and even save some time shopping. Spots like the Emporium in Magic Kingdom and World of Disney in Disney Springs can see massive crowds and insanely long lines, so grabbing your merch and checking out through the app can help you avoid that. It is dangerous in the best way. It enables more shopping, and you don't even have to think twice about it because you scan and go and you've bought it and you're done, and the card is connected to the app, and it's honestly so dangerous, and I've bought so much more than I wanted to or intended to with mobile checkout. So just be forewarned. It's really nice and handy, but then it's really nice and handy and you forget how much you're spending. So just warning.
Surviving spring break also includes staying safe. Now, this is something that we preach no matter when you're in Disney World. You should always be thinking about your safety and what's going on with you and your group, but especially during those busy, crowded times. Crowds can be really hefty. If you're not paying attention or you get easily distracted, your little fry bucket might wander away to go say hi to Mickey. Then what? You're panicked, the crowds are crazy, you're super hot, you're probably overly tired, even borderline exhausted, and your brain isn't thinking right. And the stress absolutely gets to you almost instantly. There are lots of ways to kind of protect yourself from this scenario and avoid the stress and fear that could come from a kiddo kind of wandering or getting momentarily lost. This is why we like to recommend having a good talk with a capital T with your entire group before you go to Disney World. We think this is a great time to be honest with your kids or with your group about what the week is going to look like. It's gonna be crowded. It's gonna be hot. There's gonna be a lot of people around you that you don't know. So you need to make sure to stay together. That is the emphasis here. I also think it's helpful to explain the dangers of wandering off. What could happen if maybe they turn around and mom and dad aren't with them? This is a good time to be upfront about what the expectations are well before you ever get into the stressful situation itself. This is also a great time to teach your kids, or again, the people in your group, what cast members are. Cast members are Disney's employees, but they just go by the name cast member, and they are trained in situations like this. So if your kiddo looks up and realizes all of a sudden you're gone and they don't know what to do, the first thing that they should know to do is search for someone with a name tag that is a cast member. Cast members can help you and take away so much of the stress that can come from these kinds of situations, because they do happen, and that's why we have to talk about them now. This is also a great time to consider wardrobe. Maybe wear some bright colors, easily identifiable things, so that way if they do kind of start to wander off, you can look up and say, that's that lime green shirt, and go grab them before anything gets worse. A lot of parents over the last few years have also started using Apple AirTags or different tracking devices that they put on a watch for their kids, and I've even seen some parents put them in their shoe inserts, so that way if they do get a little bit far, you kind of have a peace of mind of like what direction they're in. Now, a lot of moms I have read online do have the complaint that it is not an exact location if you're using Apple AirTags. Sometimes it's more general, but at least you can kind of have an idea of roughly where they're at should the situation happen. Hopefully if you do all of these things, it won't happen. but it never hurts to be prepared. At Disney, kids 14 and under do have to be with a parent at all times, but if you have a kiddo that's 15, it also doesn't hurt to make sure that they have at least a friend with them before they go off to ride Space Mountain while you're getting everyone waters. For older family members or anyone in your group or anyone with a cell phone, this is also a great time to stress the importance of making sure your phone is charged. Your phones are really the keys to the kingdom. You're gonna be using them all day for a myriad of reasons, but if anything were to happen, what's the first thing you're doing? You're calling the other person's cell phone. You're trying to get in contact with them to make sure what's going on, or if they have little Fry Bucket with them because you thought Fry Bucket was with you and suddenly she's not. If your phone dies, that just makes the situation a lot harder and it makes everyone a little bit more stressed out. So everyone have portable chargers with you, and if you know that your phone's starting to die, call the other person in your party and let them know, hey, my phone is starting to die. We need to either meet up now, or I'm in this line, I'm gonna finish my ride and then I will meet you at X spot. Be overly communicative. It just gives everyone peace of mind. Disney World is very safe. We also don't mean for this section of the video to be stressful or to worry you, but it also is one of those, like, be prepared, be smart, and just make sure you can cut down on your stress. There's already going to be moments during spring break that it's overwhelming, so don't add to the pile.
And finally, this is the time to be realistic. While it is possible to do almost everything in every single park during your trip, it's not always the most fun. Setting priorities and goals can be the perfect way to keep a realistic mind frame and avoid disappointment during your vacation. Peak season crowds can be the best time to bring your patience and flexibility because things can change at the drop of a hat, and they will. Weather can close rides, there can be unexpected issues, and overall it's just an overwhelming time to be there. We like to choose 3 priorities per person for the entire trip so that we can try our hardest to make everybody happy. And after those priorities, everything else on the trip is just a cherry on top. That being said, if you've made it this far and if you're watching videos like this before your vacation, you're already setting yourself up for success. So go you.
If you've made it this far, be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe for more theme park tips, tricks,
fun, and survival kits. We post videos about Disney World, Universal, other theme parks, and beyond all week long.
Be sure to comment the secret code down below, and be sure to always stick around. Why? Because we're serious about fun. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye.